Thank you, guys. Thank you for logging in. Today we have Karen Best.
Hi.
Nothing but the best, and she believes in the best. Is that right?
Yes, and I want you to believe in the best too.
So, on that line, let me explain why we're doing this series of interviews. Because we want you, the people of Yonkers, to make the right decision, to choose who is the best for the position. As always, we don't endorse, we don't oppose anyone. All that we do is inform the people of Yonkers so you can make that decision based on information, not blind decisions without knowing who you're voting for, or just based on you know the person personally, you went out with her, you go here, you go there. For this position, you need more than that. You need to be qualified for that job.
Yes.
Karen, thank you for sitting with us.
Thank you for having me. And I will say I am qualified for the job.
Let's find out, why do you think you qualified for the job, Karen?
Well, I will say I'm personally and professionally qualified. We can go through the professional first. As you can see, well, I've knocked on a lot of doors and I gave you my palm card. Currently, I'm an administrative law judge at the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. I've been there for 2.5 years. Last year, I did over 9,000 cases. And some people are familiar with the DMV and the Traffic Violations Bureau. And what I do, I handle moving violations, speeding tickets, red light tickets. But I also handle tickets or situations where if a pedestrian is struck and killed or seriously injured, I handle those cases also.
You handle those cases. What do you mean by that? Do you defend the motor vehicles? Do you defend what do you mean by handling those cases?
As an administrative judge there, I am like every other judge in a court. The officer is the prosecutor, and the motorist and or their attorney are the ones that defend themselves or defends the client. And I have to, based on the laws and the rules presented to me by the Department of Motor Vehicles, I have to make a decision on whether or not I should find the person guilty or not guilty.
Now, Karen, that is the primaries coming up, what, June?
June 23rd.
June 23rd, and general elections is when?
November 5th, I believe.
So let's explain to people so people know that if they want to give them your vote,
Yes.
not to wait for general election thinking that, okay, that's the time. They need to come out
Correct.
and vote now. So let's emphasize on that principle so people understand that
Right.
your vote doesn't matter and you need to come out on the primary to choose your candidate.
Correct. So I'm running on the Democratic line, which means if you're a registered Democrat, you can vote in the Democratic primary. So there are technically, I guess, 3 seats available. I say technically because I know Judge Daly. I stood in front of him for years and I really do respect him. So that's why I say technically. But there are 3 seats available and there's 5 people for the 3 seats. So if you're a registered Democrat, you can vote in the Democratic primary for 3 people that you would want to represent Yonkers City Court.
Now, you've been going around knocking at doors.
Yes.
How is that going?
For the most part, I really do enjoy it. To be honest with you, at work, I understand people come into the DMV and they're already frustrated, they're already angry, and a lot of times they take it out on us. And when I knock on doors, people are so nice to me. A couple people gave me water. One woman gave me like the tub of hand sanitizer for the sheets because she wants me to be safe. And I appreciated the kindness. That's the best part about knocking on people's doors. And I tell them, I'm sorry if I'm bothering you, but I really want your support because in order to get on the ballot for the Democratic primary, I have to get signatures.
So let's use this cyber interview because to me, social platforms, cyber interviews are extremely important nowadays. As we know, and as they say, last presidential elections were basically decided, or social platform was very strongly used, okay, to communicate.
Right.
So there is thousands of people that are going to be watching you. So in a matter of 15 minutes,
Okay.
you might get a few thousand watching you.
No pressure.
No pressure. So let's say you are talking to each one of them.
Yes.
And saying, look, this is why you should vote for me. Sell yourself.
Okay. Well, I would say the reason why you vote for me is because of the fact that I'm an honest and average person. I was telling you before we started my background. I first had my job, I want to say real job, but I first started working on the books at McDonald's. After that, I worked at IHOP as a hostess. I was raised by a single mother, and she had 3 children, 3 girls, and we didn't have it easy. My mother always gave me what we needed, but if I wanted something extra, a pair of Jordans, a pair of Air Max, I had to go get it for myself because it was a luxury. So I understand the average person. I tell everyone, because you can't be political because of judicial ethics rules, but I tell them my background. I was raised in a house with union members. My mother was an 1199 member. And I tell everyone I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of 1199. They helped me pick the path where I'm on now. We had so many opportunities because of 1199.
Are they endorsing you now?
I'm working on it, but they're not.
Well, not yet. They're not endorsing
We're
anybody.
all going through the process of the union endorsement. But I'll say my mother was, and still is, a union member for 1199. She's been a member for 32 years. So I come from a working family, a middle-class family. So I know what it means to, have to pay bills. Like I like the meme where it says I go from living check to check to debit to debit or something like that. I understand what that means.
So you are a person, you see, it's important to connect.
Yes.
With the voters.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to connect with the people outside.
Right.
Because I always tell politicians, you think a lot about the politicians, about the people in power. But remember, you are elected by the people, not by them. The majority of the votes come from those that are walking on the street, the guys that you go and shake their hands at the train station.
Right.
But very often they forget about it after they get elected.
Well, I will say I am not a politician. I will not be running for, council person, assembly person. I just want to be Yonkers City Court judge. My background, I went to undergrad at Hunter College, and I received my bachelor's in community health education. And to receive my bachelor's, I had to intern. I interned at a drug treatment center. And I did that knowing I was going to go into law school and go into criminal law. And if you're going to be a defense attorney, DA, or a judge, you have to understand why people come into your courtroom, why they're your clients. It's not cut and dry. It's not black and white. There's so many shades of gray. And I knew as an undergrad student, because of where I grew up, people end up in the system because they have substance abuse problems. They have mental health issues. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to become an intern at a drug treatment facility. After Hunter College, I took some time off. I became a consultant doing healthcare, and then I went to Hofstra Law School. And while at Hofstra Law School, I was in the clinic, the criminal justice clinic, which allowed me to handle cases in Nassau local court as a student handling criminal cases. So I was handling cases while I was in law school. How many people can say that? That's how passionate I am about criminal law. I am dedicated not just to the local community, to people in general. I am now the vice president for the Legal Aid Society of Westchester County. They are not endorsing me. But I'm a former public defender with them. That's how I ended up in Yonkers City Court. I worked with them for 4 years. And I'm a proud public defender. People say, oh, you're a public defender. Public defenders don't help people. And a lot of times, to be honest, that hurts my feelings because I worked very hard for my clients. I actually saw one of my clients. I knocked on her door the other day, and she was so happy to see me and when I told her I was running because I worked for her. I got her a good deal because that's what she needed.
Now, beautiful resume, and I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
But now tell me, why are you running? Is it because you feel that maybe the judicial system is not fair and you can do something to change about it? Because if I talk to people on the street, Karen, many of them don't trust the judicial system.
I understand.
They don't believe it's fair. They don't believe that the woman that has the scale is blind either. They just don't believe it. I know that you're going to tell me that maybe she is. I'm sure you're going to tell me that you are going to be a fair judge, but it's not for me. It's for them. The people are the ones that need to understand why you're running, why they should vote for you, and what changes will you do.
Okay. Well, judicial ethics restricts my answer as far as what I will do. But I will say that one of the reasons why I'm running is because at first I didn't believe in myself. And someone actually told me to get a woman to run for any office, it takes someone telling them multiple times, because women tend to not believe in themselves. And what got the idea in my head was I was at a holiday party for the courthouse. I always come back and forth and deal with people there. And one of the judges, we were talking, and he said, you know, Karen, and then soon there are going to be some seats available. You should consider running for Yonkers City Court judge. And I said to myself, well, wow, clearly something I did those 4 or 5 years in Yonkers City Court meant something to this judge, because he saw me handling these cases and he saw something in me that at the time I didn't see in myself. So for someone to believe in me before I believed in myself really struck a chord for me. And I understand that people feel the system isn't fair, it isn't for everyone, but you have to play your part in it also. You have to pick people who are passionate. You have to pick people, and it's not just in this race, in all races, in everything. You have to pick people that are genuine and are available to you, like I'm doing now. You have to see the person's background. Like I said, I have a bachelor's in community health. I've done criminal law. I have experience on a bench handling cases. And you can see and you can hear how much I care. And that's what's important when you're picking someone, is how much do they actually care. And I care because I grew up around people who unfortunately are dead or in prison because of the mistakes they made. And I don't like seeing other people or their families in that situation.
Do you see anyone that, a case where somebody is in jail because of the mistakes that the judicial system made? Are you saying that they're in jail because of the mistake that they made? What about for they're in jail because of the mistakes that the judicial system made?
Well, I can't answer that question. What I'm saying is no one is perfect. I went to church a couple weeks ago, and the pastor said no one is all good and no one is all evil.
I agree with you.
I am the first person to say I am not perfect, and I make a lot of mistakes. But it's what I do after I make those mistakes that's important. I use my mistakes as a life lesson and a learning lesson, because you can make the mistakes once, but after you continue to do it over and over and over again, it's no longer a mistake, it's a choice.
Now, Karen, I gotta ask you this because, and the question is not for my own interest, but for the community. Mm-hmm. There is lots of courts. There is criminal court, there is family court, a juvenile court, there is a city court judge. Please tell our audience, what's the difference?
Okay.
So they know who they're voting for and
why.
And who are you going to be doing if you are elected?
Okay, so in Yonkers City Court, there's criminal, traffic, like the DMV, small claims, and landlord-tenant. In family court, you deal with cases where it's child support, orders of protection, things of that nature where it's more personal. It's someone and their family member or ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, child's father or mother. That also kind of goes into criminal court, because if there's like domestic violence, that it can overlap.
Can cross.
So I've had cases where child protective services were called because the person allegedly hit the spouse in front of the kids. So that case would go to family court because there might be an order of protection or the kids were removed, but then it would be a criminal matter because domestic violence issue. So sometimes cases overlap, or even with the DMV. Someone might get arrested for driving without a license and they end up in criminal court. But then they also end up in the Department of Motor Vehicles because you violated one of our rules, which is you have to drive with a license and it has to be valid. So that's the difference between criminal court or Yonkers City Court and family court. And of course the location, they're in two separate buildings.
I have to ask you a question that was sent to me. Of course, I will ask the questions.
Right.
And you know your ethics if
I'll
you
answer
can
if
or
I can.
cannot answer. How you feel about Yonkers being a sanctuary city?
I cannot answer that question because of judicial ethics. I will say that I am an immigrant. I was born in Trinidad, and I moved here with my mother and my older sister. And my mother became a citizen when I was in high school, and I became a citizen under her. And I am proud of my roots. I am proud of being Trinidadian, and I am proud that my mother came here and she worked hard to make sure all her 3 kids were successful, or are successful. I'm an administrative law judge. My older sister is radiology tech or supervisor, and she's doing real estate, and my younger sister is a nurse. So my mother had a dream that her children would be successful, and we did it.
So what's the moral of that story? If you are an immigrant, well, if you anybody, you come to this country or born in this country, you work hard, you have a dream, and you have a plan, you will make it.
I'll let you say that. I don't want to get in trouble. I can just tell you from my
But it is true.
experience.
If you work hard, this is not an opinion from a judge. We all know that if we work hard and we have principles and we have an education, we have more chances or better chance to succeed and of success than the one who does not work hard, the one that does not go to school, and the one that stays at home watching TV all day long.
Well, I will say that there's been times where I've worked hard and there were always, well, not always, but there were obstacles in front of me. But what I did was I didn't quit. I might
That's what
have
we call life.
Right. I might have fallen down. I might have cried for a little while, but what I did was I got back up. So it's not just about working hard, it's about having that determination and believing in yourself that you can make it. So it's just a little bit more than that.
So guys, Karen Best just gave you the key to success. She's a person that can connect to the people. She understands the struggles and she understands what it takes to succeed. And I'm sure that she's a moral and an inspiration to tons of young girls and guys.
So. I really do hope so. Because even doing this, I've been told to wait in line, wait your turn, and I won't go into everything else that I've had to deal with, which I view as a little bit of bullying.
What do you mean? Bullying from who?
I won't go into it now.
But this is an interview.
I know, but it's sometimes you have to wait for the right time to say what needs to be said. But what I will say is, when someone tells you you can't do something, when someone tells you you shouldn't do something, when it's not your time and it's not your turn, prove them wrong.
I have a feeling of who you're talking about. But I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get myself in
Right.
favoritisms or...
Right.
But I know what you're saying. So when somebody tells you those things, ask yourself, why are they telling you those things? Right?
Absolutely.
So Karen, you are running to be a judge.
Yes.
I know that we are limited to questions that we should ask and answers that you can give.
Right.
Okay? That you can give. So we call this interview an info commercial, which is our interest just to tell the citizens of every candidate, regardless if they're Democrats or Republicans or independents, we don't care. We give our platform to every candidate. Our interest is very simple.
Right.
Inform the citizens, inform the voters of who is who, so they can make an educated decision on who they should vote for. So in closure, Karen, do your speech, do your thing, and tell the people why they should come out and vote for the primaries.
I want you to come out and vote for the primary because it's so important. A lot of people that I've met have complained about things being the same, nothing changing. But I am here stepping out basically almost on my own to show you and to show other people that when you believe in yourself, change can happen. But I can't do it by myself. It doesn't matter how you look, who you care about, race, gender, creed, religion. We all want the same things in life. We want happiness, we want health, we want prosperity, and we want growth. But the only way you can do that is thinking about how you contribute. And if you're not happy with the way things are, you know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Expecting different results.
Take a chance. Believe that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. Believe in me, as I said. Believe in best. And believe that I'm here for you no matter who you are, no matter what you look like. Because if you look on the back of my palm card, if you get a chance to meet me, I knock on your door, you will see that, again, I have professional experience and I have personal experience and I can relate to everyone.
On that note, let me just end by saying that expect Karen Best to be knocking at your door, but by the time she knocks at your door, you already know who she is. So engage in a good conversation, ask a few questions that maybe you forgot to ask today. You will see her face to face. She's a lady that is easily approachable, easy to talk to, easy to communicate, and she's a good person to have a conversation with. But especially, to me, a person that is good to have a conversation with is a person that listens a lot, not the person that talks a lot.
Right.
So engage with her, and if she is the right person, that's the name, Karen Best.
Thank you.
Now let me take this opportunity as well to invite any candidate, regardless of your party, regardless of your gender, regardless of your color. We don't look at none of that. We don't endorse or oppose. Our interest is to inform the people. So if you are interested in having a conversation, if you are interested of having a sit down with us at Yonkers Voice, please reach out. yv@yonkersvoice.com. We will be waiting for your email so we can schedule an appointment and an interview so the people of Yonkers can know who you are and who should they vote for. Vote based on information, on educated information. Don't vote based on who looks good, who you like, or who you know. Based on record. That's who you should vote for. Thank you.